What do you think black women need most?
How are you contributing to the progress of your people? We're not talking about that.
So what are you talking about now?
We're not talking about rape, please. Oh yeah, stop now.
Hello, my name is SaRa Garvey. I am a public speaker, social commentator, debater, and presenter, and my heritage is Jamaican. I was in a 10-year relationship and I've been single for about 2 years now. Because I kind of feel like women of this generation don't really know what they want, and so I'm just gonna take my time and see what the world's about.
Hi, my name's Kaye. I'm based in Southeast London. My heritage is Jamaica and Barbados, and I'm a model full time. In a man, I'd say I'm mostly looking for honesty. You know, we all go through trauma, we all have pride, we all want to work through things by ourselves, but in order to really heal, I believe we can't always be a closed book. I feel good, optimistic, yes.
Yeah, I feel a little bit anxious, but a good anxious.
Ladies first? First card. Okay, what do you think black women need most?
Wow, what do I think black women need most? At this point in time, I'd say introspection. I think black women need a lot of introspection. I feel like black women get praised a lot in these days and times. I'm not saying they don't deserve praise. I think when you get praised too much, you kind of miss a little bit of introspection, and I kind of feel like sometimes go inside and not expect everything from the outside.
I would agree with that, to be honest, spot on. I'm all about introspection myself, so for example, if everyone around me is happy and I'm reciprocating the love and the affection that they're giving me and everyone's cool, then I'm cool. But if someone is showing me that, I don't know, like if everyone around me is showing me that they have an issue with me, then obviously I need to look inside myself. But it's the same that can be said for obviously when you're being praised. Even though you're being praised and everyone's telling you that everything's okay, it doesn't mean that you still shouldn't try to be a better version of yourself. So I guess I agree with that.
Alright. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Let's roll. How are you contributing to the progress of your people?
That's a bit deep, isn't it?
I didn't write the question.
I know. What I do is obviously, can I say what I do, yeah? Okay, so what I do is I model and I'm very body positive. So regardless of hyperpigmentation, stretch marks, curves, scars, whatever, I'm an advocate for accepting yourself. And so I encourage women, especially black women, to love everything about themselves on the outside at least, because on the inside it takes a lot of work. But on the outside at least, because you're always faced with these expectations of the world, especially on black women, I believe. So yeah, that's how I contribute to society. I inspire black women to love themselves more.
Okay, I like that. I think a lot of black women do need to love themselves more. When it comes to the aesthetics, I think black women, a lot of black women, not all, but aspire to different ideals of beauty that are not their own. So no, that's good. It's positive.
Cool. What can we do collectively to improve the male and female relationships in our community?
Simple. Listen. Listen without ego. I think a lot of the time we hear each other, but we don't listen. And our egos get in the way of us listening to each other's opinions and thoughts and feelings. So what we can do is actually check our egos at the door and listen.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's easier said than done to leave your ego at the door, because ego is something that you have like from your child. You develop that as you grow. So I don't know, I understand what you're saying and I agree, but I think I wouldn't even know how to approach that. Like, how do you leave your ego at the door?
By realizing that it's not all about you, and by realizing that, you know, other people's experiences, thoughts and feelings are just as valid as your own.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
All right, my turn. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the financial stability of your partner?
I would say it depends on what stage of your life that you're at and what you're trying to achieve. So if you're happy for a 9 to 5 for the next 40 years of your life, I would expect you to be financially stable at a relatively young age, if that's what you know and that's what you believe that you want to do. A bum, I'm not looking for a bum. Full stop. If you're an entrepreneur or you're trying to run your own business, obviously that takes a while to get started. Even if you started when you're 19, you may not still be developed till you're 30. So I think it really depends on what stage you're at in your life. But I think the basis, like afford to pay your bills and afford to look after yourself and clothe yourself and feed yourself, I think that's very important. So I'd say like roughly a 7. You know, when I said I didn't want a bum, I'm not saying that I don't date people who aren't there yet, because I'm not there yet myself. If you're trying your best is good enough, and I will support my partner through that. I cook, I clean, I love, I hug, whatever I can offer, whatever that person needs, I'm there to give it to them. If that feeling is reciprocated, of course.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm not going to disagree with you there. I'm really not. I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, okay, I'll go on to the next one. Should boys be allowed to play with dolls?
No, boys should not be allowed to play with dolls. I have a son myself, he's 8 years old. He has no business playing with dolls. Dolls are for girls.
Is it that deep?
It's that deep. And there's no need for him to play with dolls. He can know what dolls are, but he will know that they're for girls. And if he wants to have a doll, he will look at it in the way that it's a doll for a girl, but it's not for him to play with.
So he can't play with action figures?
Action figures, yeah.
That's a doll.
Here we go. No, it's not a doll. When we say dolls, we're talking about female dolls. Not like...
We are?
Generally, that's when I hear doll, I hear like a baby, like a female.
Okay.
But, you know, he can play with like action figures and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. He's got them. He's got like action figures. But female dolls, no.
But couldn't you turn that into like an educational aspect? Like, for example, if he did have a baby doll that he wanted to play with, you could teach him, these are the things that you need to do with the baby. You need to change his nappy, you need to look after the baby, you need to cream the baby's skin. I don't think it's, you know, it's female, it's bad, it's a doll. I think you could actually flip that in a way that actually educates your young son to actually appreciate women even, and appreciate girls their age.
I hear you. And I don't necessarily disagree. I'm just saying the climate in which we're in, the effeminization of like black boys is a thing. And I don't necessarily want to be contributing to effeminizing my son. Yes, it could be an educational tool, totally get you. But I want to teach my son manly things or boy things before I get him like playing with like changing nappies and stuff.
The funniest meme I've ever seen, ever. Wow. I don't know what the funniest meme I've ever seen is. Probably something to do with feminism. I find feminism quite funny. So something to do with some kind of contradictory, something that a woman would say. Like, you know, they want to be equal to men, but then, I don't know, they want all the benefits of being a woman.
So looking after a baby is not a man's job, or it's not on their priority list?
Yeah, it is. It is. As a father myself, I looked after my son. I changed his nappy. I, you know, creamed his skin, all of that. But that's something that I learned in my adulthood. I think for young boys, they shouldn't really be thinking about that at this moment in time, changing babies' nappies and, you know, creaming babies and stuff. That's just not what I don't believe that's what they should be thinking about right now.
So do you believe the same for girls then, for young girls?
No. I don't. I'm not going to lie to you. They need to know from an early age because it's
Why?
Because it's probably them that's going to be most of the time doing it. That's just the way the world goes.
So because I'm more likely to change a baby's nappy more often, I should know at a younger age.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right.
And I'll expand on that actually. So in the climate that we live in, right? Men, and I'm not condoning it by the way, men can very easily leave a woman with the baby.
Yeah.
Very easily, right? And I'm not condoning it. So it's something that maybe you as a woman are gonna need to know more so than the man.
More so, but at the same young age though. At the age of 8, you believe a girl should be learning how to do them things.
Listen, girls are getting pregnant at the age of 12 nowadays.
But whose fault is that? Is that the girl's fault? Because that's rape.
I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. I'm just
non-consensual.
saying it just happens. It happens, do you know what I mean? Like, now we're talking about blame and fault. But
it comes into it though, because it's not the 12-year-old child's fault that she was pregnant. So just because she's pregnant at 12 doesn't mean that she should have known about it at the age of 8.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay. The funniest meme for me is that meme where the woman's got all the different algebra signs popping up on the screen and she's trying to figure out like what someone is talking about. That's my favorite one because a lot of the times people are talking to me and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Why are black women often classed as bitter or angry? How did we get here?
I think black women are classed as bitter and angry because we've had enough of the expectations of basically everyone around us, of men, of our moms, of romantic partners, of workplaces. We're always being told to for example, we're always being told to assimilate. So in order to get a job, most times, if it's corporate, you need to put a wig on. This standard, we all know this. It's not said, it's not spoken about, but we know this. And then when we go home, the black men are saying, oh, but we prefer you without a wig, we prefer you in natural hair. What do you want? Do you want me to be paying the bills or do you want me to be having my afro out every day? You can't have both, and they are mutually exclusive at this time. So I think we get frustrated.
Are you bitter and angry, is that what you're saying?
I'm not bitter and angry, but I'm saying I understand why black women are, because we have so much expectations on us and they always contradict each other.
It's so layered. This is a multi-layered one, isn't it? Like, I think the reason why black women are classed as bitter and angry is because, one, in the Western world specifically, they've had to take on roles that shouldn't necessarily be theirs. But then with that, which is another layer, two, taking on that role and taking on those roles has made black women think that they are quite masculine, and the bitterness and anger for me stems from a very masculine place and not so much a feminine place.
I don't think we're bitter or angry. I think it portrays itself that way when we are actually hurt. We just want to be ourselves and we're not allowed to be. So it comes off as we're bitter and angry when we're not. We're just fed up.
But then if you're hurt, don't you get bitter? Don't you get angry?
No. When I'm hurt, I get sad. I start crying. I don't want to lash out. I don't get, oh, I hate that person. I don't have hatred in my heart when I'm hurt. It's not. I don't believe hurt is mutually exclusive to bitter and angry.
Okay, fair enough.
The type of woman I'm not looking for is a diva, someone who cares more about their looks than they do about what goes on the inside, and someone who is not introspective.
I've watched black women who would be bitter and angry towards black men become very docile and puppies when they take on white partners, when they take on white men. And that's very interesting to watch. That is very interesting for me to watch, that you would give a white male partner so much dominance over you and so much puppy type behavior, whereas if it's a black man, you feel like you need to be a little bit more angry and confrontational.
So do you believe that black men play a role in that situation?
100%.
Okay. As long as you know, like, not black men are to blame, but they have their role as to why black women are like that. And if a black woman wants to date a white man after, obviously, like, there's reasons for that. If they don't feel accepted by, for example, if they don't feel accepted by a black man and they haven't for the, you know, the first 15 years of their dating experience, then why not try something else? And I've had experiences like first time meeting people, and I think the worst was like going to a cafe and the guy was basically mute the entire time. It was just me doing all the talking. So I was like, so why you are you interested in me? What's going on?
I've watched black women become like
Maybe
puppies. I've seen them become puppies in the hand of a white man. I'm like, wow, that's
Are they
interesting
being treated
to watch.
the same though?
Are they?
Are they being treated the same by the white man and the black man is the question.
I don't know. I think black women have a very interesting relationship with white men, personally. That's just my own personal thing. I think they have a very interesting relationship with white men. I think a lot of black women, when they find a white man, feel like on some kind of subconscious level that they found their own personal Jesus.
No,
yeah.
But Jesus is black though, babe.
No, Jesus is not black to what we see. He's not. God is white, Jesus is white.
Yeah, but
we
know Jesus is black though.
No. You may know Jesus is black, but the general population of black women that are consuming Jesus think of him and idolize him as a white man.
Okay.
And so my thing is, when I watch a lot of black women with white men, I feel like a lot of the time I could be going too deep. But
are you talking about the white savior complex?
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like they found their white savior.
I can't talk on that because I haven't experienced it. But from what I've seen and experienced myself, white men seem to be more accepting of black women and their trauma and their past and their so-called bitterness and angriness than black men have been. That's just what I've seen. They're more accepting, wholly.
You think white men are more accepting of black women's trauma?
From what I've seen, yes. Because black men are very quick to label black women as angry and aggressive. Oh, she's too much. Oh, I don't date black girls no more because they like to chat too much. Or they got too much attitude. I don't hear white men saying that.
I think a lot of the time, okay, so I don't know if I'm speaking too much, but I know a black woman who was with a white man for a fair amount of years.
Yeah.
And had a child for him.
Yeah.
And when he ended the relationship, he ended with saying, I can't see myself with a black woman long term. Right. Because a lot of the time, when white men get with black women,
yeah,
in my experience, from what I've seen, it's a fetish. And so once the novelty wears off, it's like, well, you know, it's like cool now. Like I've done what I needed to do. So
I've itched to scratch.
There you go.
Why do men fake their financial status and women their looks?
I think it's quite self-explanatory. I think women understand that men are attracted to aesthetics, and men understand that women are attracted to money.
But are women really attracted to money, or are they attracted to financial stability? Because I think there's two different things. You could be wealthy but not be generous.
I think this generation specifically, the way in which things are going, women are attracted to money.
So being spoiled? You
could be an ugly man, a very ugly man, and be rich and still find 10 women.
Because they're being spoiled?
You could have 2 teeth in your mouth, no hair on your head, right? But you've got...
So we're assuming that he's generous, though, to spend that money on the woman? Or just he has the money in general?
But he's smart enough to know that women are attracted to money, so he will spend.
Okay.
And women will know that men are aesthetic creatures and be like, all right, cool, well, if I kind of amplify this, it may attract a mate, it may attract a man. So I think that's why men do that and women do that, personally.
I get where you're coming from, but I feel like it's only if women and men reduce themselves to that certain level. I think in general, women and men are looking for a real connection. I don't believe it's just, money, looks. In a relationship, I bring to the table anything that my partner requires. So if they need motivating, I will be their number one fan. If they need inspiration, if they need knowledge, if anything that I can possibly help with, including financial. You know, when I said I didn't want a bum, I'm not saying that I don't date people who aren't there yet, because I'm not there yet myself. Everybody is scared to check black people. We are too sensitive to criticism, even amongst ourselves? Question mark.
Oh my God. Someone grab me a tambourine and say amen. Yes. Black people are highly emotionally charged. Yeah. They don't take well to criticism. Women in particularly, I'm just going to say it, like black women don't take criticism very well. Black people in generally don't take criticism very well. I agree. Like we are, for me, we are some of the most emotionally charged people on the planet. Yeah. Which means to me, like I'm a person who deals a lot in psychology. Like I know if I can push someone's buttons and I can get them to act a certain way, then I'll push those buttons and I'll get them to act in a certain way. Like the problem with being emotionally charged and not being able to be introspective and open to criticism is that people always know the buttons to press to get you to act a certain way. And I feel like black people are being played constantly, on a constant basis, emotionally. I think people are constantly pushing the buttons of black people. They know exactly the ones to push. And we just, a lot of the time, we fall for it all the time.
The superpower that I would choose would be to read people's minds. And I would do that because if you can read someone's mind, you can generally get the outcome that you want out of them.
I believe that's true, but I don't believe it's exclusive to black people. And the reason why I say that is because if our buttons really were pushed to a certain extent, there would be a lot more hate groups like there is in the white community. And there's not. So clearly we're not being pushed hard enough or far enough for us to actually take action with those buttons. Do you get what I'm saying?
But black people don't deal in hate though.
Pardon?
That's the thing. Black people don't deal in hate. You said there will be hate groups. Black people don't deal in hate. They deal with emotion. They don't really deal with like hate groups. Like if you go to, like you have the KKK in a white hate group, you might have, you know, some kind of, you know, Muslim, I don't know, hate group that want to bomb so-and-so. Like, you can't find that historically within black people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you expect that if our buttons are being pushed so often?
No, because that's not what we do. We don't deal in hate. We may deal in emotion, but we don't deal in hate. That's just me looking at us historically. We don't deal in like, okay, cool, let's sit down, plot, plan and scheme as to how to mess up these group of people. We just don't, we ain't got time. We actually just ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But we got time to like get in our emotions and be like, no, that's messed up and blah, blah, blah. And like, but we ain't got time to sit, really plot, plan and scheme and like get bombs and arm ourselves and.
Yeah, but I don't believe that, you know, we're vindictive people. I'm not saying that any other group is.
Yeah.
But I believe that even though our buttons are being pressed, we're still striving and we still turn the other cheek and we still achieve and do the best that we can. And I feel we are passionate, and I feel people misconstrued that for emotional. We're passionate. When we see a white child die, we're passionate. When we see a black child die, we're passionate. It's not even about race. When we see death and when we see hate, we're passionate and we stand against it.
Right.
I don't believe that that's always emotionally charged. If someone says, oh, F Black Lives Matter to me, I'm like, okay, cool, that's your business. It's not going to press me. I'm still going to sleep good. But on a particular day, it could press me because I'm passionate.
But I don't like Black Lives Matter.
That's your business. I'm not saying that I do or don't, but I'm just saying that's your business. Yeah.
Fair enough. Black women rock European hairstyles and white women wear African hairstyles. What's the difference?
The difference is we've been forced to assimilate. When we had the traditional cane rows back in even before like slavery and everything, when kings and queens had the traditional cornrows to show status, that's what was up. And then it translated to, in slavery days, we needed to put rice in our hair so that we could eat. That's what was up. It's always been a historical link and very deep and culturally rich link to why we have our hair a certain way. We've come to the Western world. We've been pushed and forced into the Western world, and now we have to assimilate. We used to wear scarves to wrap our heads. They didn't like that. They started wearing scarves to wrap their heads, and then they shaved our heads. We shave our... There's nothing we can do, or no way that we can wear our hair that white women will accept it. But you now want to assimilate my own culture after you've told me to get rid of it. I don't believe in that. Rock your white hair like you said you wanted us to do, and leave it be. Why you want box braids now? Because it's in fashion. Stop it. Anyway, but you can rip out your own hair. That's your business still.
Okay. No, I think the hair one's a bit. It's a technical one.
What's technical about it?
It's a technical one when it comes to black women. Like, I want a black woman to be comfortable in her own skin. Personally,
but just because she has white hair, doesn't mean that she's not comfortable in her own skin. Just because she has a wig on, doesn't mean that she's not comfortable. They're not mutually exclusive. You know that, yeah? They're not. You have to say like you work for Barclays. You gotta wear a wig.
Fair enough. If it is a corporate decision or something like that,
right?
Fair enough.
Right.
However, black hair has always been a choice, a contentious like thing, right? So, growing up, you know, black women specifically were told that their hair is nappy, their hair is picky,
yep.
their hair is X, Y, and Z, right?
Yep.
So I totally get, right, why they get to their adulthood and they want to put on a blonde wig.
Yep.
Totally get it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of the time, like I was speaking about introspection. I
yep.
think a lot of the time, we need black people in general, but black women, when it comes to this, need to be introspective and say, am I doing this based off of a self-hate mechanism that there is inside me? And if I'm not, and I'm literally doing it and I'm happy with my hair, cool. But a lot of the time...
But how would you know it's a lot of the time?
It's tacky.
Do you actually ask a woman how they feel about their hair before you assume?
Listen, when you ask a black woman about her hair, you get a madness back. I paid for it, so it's mine. All right, well, do you know what? Like, I'm trying to get to the root of this thing. Well, it is my hair because it's a very contentious topic. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, if we... I'm a man, do you know what I mean? So maybe it's a conversation black women need to have amongst themselves.
I believe so. I don't think everything, you know, there's women's business and there's men's business.
Yeah, 100%.
I do really believe that. And I feel it's really none of men's business as long as everything's cushy and the woman seemingly loves herself. And if you want to help elevate her in that, cool. Don't bring her down though. Pro-life or pro-choice?
Oh, pro-life. Pro-life all the way. All right, cool. So I speak about this quite a lot. I speak about abortion quite a lot. And I'm going to go back to 2016. In 2016 in New York, right? First of all, let's not even get to 2016. We go back to Planned Parenthood in America in general. It was started by a eugenicist named Margaret Sanger. It was started by a white woman who actually wanted to kill black people and to kill black babies. That was her plan. You can research her, right? And so then we get to 2016 in New York, where more black babies were aborted than were actually born that year, right? And that says to me, wow, like you killed more black children than actually had the chance to come out of the womb. So and people always bring into the equation, right? Oh, but what if someone's raped? Listen, if someone's raped, by all means, get rid of that. You have the choice, get rid of that baby. I don't,
right.
But I'm saying in general, listen, there are so many different ways in which to stop yourself from getting pregnant. You don't have
to... Can you chuck yourself down the stairs?
Huh?
Can you name some of the ways to stop yourself getting pregnant? Other than a man coming near you.
You've got the coil.
Yeah.
You've got the pill.
Yeah.
You've got the injection.
And you're 16 and your mum ain't
even... You've got condoms.
So you're 16 or you're 15 and your mum hasn't put any of those options into your mind.
Now you've gone to 16. I don't know this was a 16-year-old conversation.
Well, the thing is, you're talking about abortion in general. So in general, it's coming across all ages.
Right. But it's not just 16-year-olds.
No,
like,
it's
grown
not just.
People have abortions.
Pardon?
Grown people have abortions. Like that's what I'm trying to say. But I am pro-life because you have so many different ways in which to not get pregnant before you have to take the step to actually get rid of a child.
Can you name some of the ways? Because I'm really confused.
I just told you,
now.
The contraceptions.
Okay. And if those aren't available, then what?
You're in the Western world, contraception's available.
So what if you're not in the Western world? So what if you're not in the Western world? Because you're talking about abortion.
If you're not in the Western world, people generally have babies.
Okay. Well, I personally believe that women should govern their bodies and have a choice, and it's not no one else's business, but it's your own decision to decide if you have a baby or not. If you literally,
what about the baby's decision?
What do you mean the baby's decision? Did you have a decision when you were in your dad's balls?
No, I'm saying once the baby starts growing in the womb.
Yeah.
What then?
What about it? People
What?
have miscarriages. Is that the person's choice? Is that the baby's choice? No.
I'm not talking about a miscarriage.
Yeah,
I'm
but the
saying,
thing is,
what
you're saying about
the child? What about
the
the
baby
child?
doesn't have a choice, does it? You didn't have a choice when you were in your mum's womb, neither did I.
So you're going to choose to kill that baby then?
If I cannot provide for the child, if it is a thing of rape, if I'm carrying my dad's
Rape is
baby,
different.
God forbid, of course I'd have
Abuse,
an abortion.
rape, I don't get rid of the baby. I understand.
Right, so how can you say that you're pro-life if you believe in those things? If you're pro-life in any way, shape or
I'm
form.
not pro-life across the board. Obviously, there are different circumstances.
Yeah, but this is
abortion
what
can happen.
but this is what I'm saying. It's one or the other. You can't
Nah,
but barring this circumstance
black
and
and
barring
white.
that circumstance. I want as many babies to be born as possible in the right circumstances and in happy homes, happy arms, happy families. If the circumstances aren't that way and you really can't facilitate having a baby,
abortion is not contraception, you know.
Abortion is not. No one's saying that, and no woman has been. I don't believe. No woman would ever choose to have an abortion. Abortion is a very difficult thing for women to go through. It's trauma on your body, on your spirit, on your mind. No woman would choose that. So she's made that decision even, and it's very difficult to make. Why would you still chastise her for doing it? Let her heal. Your opinion on a woman's governance of her body is nullified.
Well, maybe she should have governed her body better in the first place.
Okay, so maybe she should have governed her body against her dad when he was raping her, yeah?
We're not talking about that.
So what are you talking about now?
We're not talking about rape, please. Oh yeah, stop now. We're not talking about rape.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about if a woman has had unprotected sex, yeah?
Okay, so only this one certain circumstance.
A man has ejaculated in her and they've had, and then she's pregnant.
So she took the morning after pill and it didn't work. Then what?
Wow, okay, well, if it didn't work, then I get it.
Listen, what? You're not getting it.
I get it. No,
the
but I do
amount
get
of
it.
circumstances there are for a woman to have an abortion, whatever the circumstance is, it is acceptable. It is always acceptable because an abortion is a last resort for a woman.
Nah, you don't kill babies, man. Like, you just don't kill babies.
Yeah, but people do kill babies. People have babies, get postnatal depression and kill them.
Yeah,
so what?
So that's not correct. That's not right, is it?
So would you rather the baby be born and then be killed in postnatal depression, or would you rather the person have miscarriage?
I don't want babies being killed across the board. I don't like babies being killed. It doesn't matter how you kill the baby. I don't like babies being killed.
Okay, so regardless of the circumstances, then you don't want babies to be killed.
Last one here. What do you think black men need the most?
They need to accept themselves. There's a lot of this, I'm dark skinned and only date light skinned women and da-da-da-da-da. Accept yourself, love yourself. Don't worry about what black women have to do and face and achieve, and worry about yourself. Fix yourself and you will, like attracts like. If you're centered and balanced in yourself, you will find a black woman who is centered and balanced. That's it. In general, I believe people should focus on themselves and stop looking at other people for fault and criticism and whatever.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel like it went okay. There were good parts, bad parts. I think the thing we disagreed on was definitely the abortion, pro-life thing.
I think the conversation was really stimulating. I can tell that he's a very passionate person. Obviously, we did clash on a few things, but we did agree on a lot more than we disagreed. But I think the abortion thing, I really have to ruminate on before I make a decision.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. She didn't come out for whatever reason. Maybe I was a little bit too forceful, but I get that. Do you know what I mean? I get that.
So I decided not to step out of the curtain because I don't believe that I can have a future with someone who doesn't really grasp. It felt like he didn't grasp the struggles of a black woman.
Onwards and upwards, on to the next one. You know, the dating scene right now is crazy anyway, so we'll see what happens next.